Again, I'm just telling you how society has programmed you to be poor. How can you win in this setup? Society has programmed you to be poor, but you ain't got to stay there. You ain't got to fall for the trap that society has set up for you. You can get rich. The choice is yours, guys. What is going on, YouTube? It is your boy, Dev. Welcome back to Building Wealth with Dev. Now, guys, I got some very sad news for you. You were programmed to be poor. Now, don't feel bad, because I was programmed to be poor as well. Now, what do I mean? Ever since I was a kid, my dad always told me to go to school, get good grades so that I could go to high school, so that I could get good grades, so that I could get into a good university, so that I could graduate and go get a good job. That's what I was taught from the time I was about 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, y'all, up until the time I graduated from high school. Get good grades so that I can get into a good university, so that I can then go and get a good job. Now, I'm going to tell you the issue with this plan. The issue with this plan is by doing those steps in the order that I was told, they do not guarantee me to get rich. They really just guarantee a life of just getting by. Because if I go to school just to get good grades, just so I can get into the university, just so that I can get a job, that job more than likely isn't going to get me rich. So how do you get rich? How do you unprogram your mind from poor to rich? You know, it's difficult because I see a lot of people that are struggling financially, and it's very tough. And I really feel for them because our society does not teach you how to be rich. Quite frankly, I don't believe our society wants you to be rich. Our society has set up the system in a way that it is so set on you becoming poor. It's almost inevitable that you're going to be poor the way society is set up. When you get to high school, they want you to take out that student loan debt when you go to college. That student loan debt comes at a very expensive cost. You actually got to pay that back one day. It's scary, guys. And not only that, okay, you graduate, you get your good job, right? You want to show the world that you made it. So what do? You go sign your line on that new car payment. Well, nowadays, guys, cars ain't like how they used to be. Cars are expensive. They say the average car payment, not even new car payment, the average car payment is $500 a month, guys. That is sickening. If you graduate with a decent job, making $45,000 a year, making right around $2,800 a month after taxes are paid, guys, $500 a month, you're down to $2,200. You haven't even factored in rent. You haven't even factored in food. You haven't factored in vacations. You haven't factored in anything else other than your car payment. You're down to $2,200. You ain't factored in healthcare, guys. There's so many expenses that come to living this good life, guys. So you graduate, you get that car. You're already making decisions to be poor. You're programmed because that's the first thing on your mind. Your first thing on your mind isn't going and investing, isn't going and buy a rental property. The first thing in your mind is you got to go out and get that new car so you can show whomever that you made it out of college, I guess. It's crazy, guys. They got it so set up. And not only that, okay, so you buy that car, right? And then you meet your spouse. So you're like, all right, baby, let's go have this amazing, beautiful wedding. Let's go invite 100 people to our wedding. Let's spend $30,000 or $40,000 that we don't have on this wedding. So what do? You put it on credit cards. So now we got the car payment that we're paying at $500 a month. And then we got these freaking credit cards that are unreal that we're paying every single month because we wanted to have a crazy wedding when we only had money for a very small style wedding, right? So we got those two types of debt. Now we're happily married, right? Kinda, money is tight. We fighting over money every day because we both got these $500 car payments. We had this wedding that we knew we shouldn't have that was way too expensive and we couldn't afford it. So we went out and got into all this credit card debt to do so. And now we're ready to buy a house, guys. Again, I'm just telling you how society has programmed you to be poor. How can you win in this setup? But again, we're just talking about it. So you go out and you go decide to buy a house, right? Now, you don't go and buy a beginner style home. You're not living on that side of town. You're not going to live in a small house like that. You want to go out and you want to buy a nice little suburban house. So that's what you go out and do. And you go out and you buy a house. And now, again, you didn't buy the beginner home, so your payment isn't $1,000. Your payment is $2,500 a month. Now, don't forget, we got our car payment of $500 a month. We got credit cards because we went out and had this wedding that we probably shouldn't have had. And now we got a $2,500 a month mortgage. Now, don't forget, guys, we got utilities on top of that. We got home repairs. Things happen. You got expenses when it comes to owning a home. Society has programmed you to be poor. How do you invest if you have no money left over at the end of your month? You won't invest. And if you can't invest, you can't get rich here in America, guys. It's nearly impossible. If you do not invest your money, you cannot get rich here in America. So how do you reprogram your mind to build wealth and get rich here in America? Well, guys, there's 6 words that I feel like you need to know if you are going to invest and get rich here in America. Now, my wife and I, we've been blessed. We have purchased 9 investment rental properties that have a total amassed value of over $1 million. We are truly blessed. We also invest in our company 401k that they offer, and then we invest in a Roth IRA. But we were in the same seat as you. Society programmed us to be poor as well, but we learned these 6 words that changed everything for us. The first word is income. Income is simply defined as money that you have coming into your life. The second word that you must know is expense, guys. Expense. Expense is money that you have going out of your life. A lot of times we look at expenses as bills. The third word you must know is asset. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket every single month. An example of an asset in my life would be our rental properties. Every single month, our rental properties make us money, put money into our pocket every single month. Notice this part, without the need to work. Our rental properties is passive income. We're not physically going and showing up every day to make income from those properties. We do some hard work up front by saving up the money for the down payment, fixing up the property real nice, and then we turn around and we put a tenant in the property, and every month that tenant not only pays our mortgage, but provides some extra money called cash flow. The fourth word you must know is liability. Liabilities are things that take money out of your pocket every month. A big mortgage can be a liability. Remember, you didn't go out and buy the beginner home. You went out and bought your suburban home, in which you bought the big house that is not a rental property. It's not an investment property. It's your personal house. And a lot of times, big personal houses come with big mortgages. There's nothing wrong with a big house, but there is a problem with the big house if you are house poor. If all your money every month is going towards your house and you don't have any money left over to invest, any money to travel, any money to live the life that you wish to live, you're house poor, and that is not okay. Another form of liability would be a car. A car takes money out of your pocket every month. Even when a car is paid off, it can still be a liability. I personally drive a 2018 Honda Civic Si, and it is paid off, but it is still a liability. Earlier this year, I had a $5,000 expense that came out of nowhere on this vehicle. I blew a head gasket. I dropped $5,000 into that car, guys. I was so upset, and it was really nothing I could do. I couldn't get rid of the car real quick because it was already broken down, and I just had to eat the expense. A car is a liability. The last 2 words are cash flow. The reason most people are poor is because they have no idea where their cash is flowing. They are poor, right? They're poor and middle class. Poor and middle class, you can use those words pretty much interchangeably because it's not really much of a difference. A lot of times when you're in the middle class, you really don't have a lot of extra income. You're not really free. If your income stops, you're done, guys. You don't have any assets working for you. You're in the middle class. You get income a lot of times coming in from a job, or you're a small business owner, and most of it goes out because you got a bunch of liabilities. You might have a big house. You probably have some fancy cars. You probably have some credit card debt because you like to buy stuff that you know you probably shouldn't be buying, right? You might have some student loans because you had to get an education so that you could get that good job. Again, I'm just telling you how society has programmed you to be poor, but you don't have to stay there. How do you get rich? This is how you get rich. You take that income, however you're making it, you take that income and you figure out a way to get it into the asset column. You have to figure out a way to buy assets. Assets are a secret word of the rich. Again, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket every single month. About 5 years ago, my wife and I, we started buying assets, guys. And I'm going to warn you, once you start buying assets, it gets addicting. Because once you start seeing passive income coming in, guys, it's mind-boggling. It really changes your life. It changes your freaking life forever, guys. About 5 years ago, we decided to buy our first house. Now, we didn't go out and do what most people do that are poor, right? Because even though society programmed me to be poor, I reprogrammed my mind by educating myself via books, via podcasts, via YouTube videos, right? Same thing you're doing if you're watching this video. So I didn't fall for the trap. I ended up graduating from college debt-free. I didn't take out any student loans. They weren't going to fool me, guys. I graduated. I got a good job. And immediately when I got my good job, I did make a dumb decision, right? It did give me in a little aspect. I went out and bought a 2016 Harley-Davidson Street Glide. I shouldn't have, but I did. I talked about it in a previous video, the dumbest financial decision I've ever made. So they did get me there, but I didn't stop there. I had a plan. I ended up going out that same year, a couple months after I bought that bike, and I ended up buying our first property. Now, I didn't go out and buy the big home in the suburbs. I ended up buying a beginner home that was priced very reasonably, and I knew that my wife and I, we could live in that property for 1 year, and after 1 year was up, I could turn around, turn that house into a rental property, and buy another property. And that's exactly what we did. But we didn't do it just once. We did it over and over and over again, and now we have 9 properties in our real estate portfolio. We have 9 assets every single month that put money into our pocket day in and day out, whether we go to work at our jobs or we don't go to work at our jobs. We're getting ready to go on a vacation, and I'm so excited. And the dope thing about it is our properties are going to pay us even while we're away, guys. You cannot beat assets. But if you're going to get rich here in America, you have to figure out a way to get your income into assets so that your assets can make you more income. Words from the wise, guys. Stay away from liabilities. If you don't have a lot of money, stay away from those big houses, guys. The big house is going to be there, but you don't want to be house poor. You don't want everything you're making from your job to go into your house. You want to have leftover money to invest and to do other fun things like travel and give and have a good time with your money, right? You don't want all of it to go to just an object. Same thing with cars, guys. I know people with car payments that are out the berserk, guys. Just crazy car payments. Just crazy. Don't do that, guys. Take your income. Put it into assets. Now, real estate is not the only form of asset. You can invest in the stock market as well. But decide which asset class you want to invest in and go for it, guys. Because no one is coming to save you. Society has programmed you to be poor, but you ain't got to stay there. You ain't got to fall for the trap that society has set up for you. You can get rich. The choice is yours, guys. Always remember, when God is in it, there is no limit. Your dream life is out there. You just got to find a way to go get it. We'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.